Leo was a man with big dreams. He wanted to write a great book. He wanted to travel to faraway lands. He wanted to be the best at his job and make his family proud. But every day felt the same. Every day felt like a struggle, a climb up a steep hill with heavy rocks in his pockets. It always started at the same time. The clock on the wall would tick its way to 9 p.m. The day was over. Leo was tired. He had worked hard at the office. He had fought the traffic to get home. He made a simple dinner. He cleaned the kitchen until it shone. Now it was his time. It was time to relax. It was time to let go. He sat on the edge of his bed. The room was dim and quiet. The only light came from the street lamp outside his window. It cast long, strange shadows on the bedroom wall, like silent ghosts watching him. Leo reached for his phone. It lay on the nightstand, black and sleek. It was a habit, a simple, small, automatic habit. Just a quick check, he told himself. Just 5 minutes to see what was happening in the world. He picked it up. The screen came to life in his hands. A bright, colorful picture appeared. He smiled. It was a funny cat. He scrolled down with his thumb. Another picture, a video of someone cooking a delicious meal, a news story with a shocking headline. The blue light from the screen shone on his face in the dark room. His eyes were wide, but they were not really seeing the world around him. They were just looking. They were locked onto the tiny screen, feeding on the light. Minutes turned into half an hour. Then an hour passed. Leo felt sleepy. His eyelids were heavy, like tiny weights were pulling them down. A small, quiet voice in the back of his head said, "Put it down, Leo. Go to sleep. You need rest." But his thumb kept moving. Swipe, scroll, tap. It was like a spell, a bad kind of magic that he could not break. It held him fast. He could not stop. There was always one more thing to see. He looked at the digital clock on his nightstand. The red numbers glowed in the dark, bright and accusing. It was 11:30 p.m. "Just a little more," he whispered to the empty room. "Then I will sleep, I promise." He found a new video to watch. It was about a man building a log cabin in the woods with his own hands. It was interesting. It was peaceful. He watched the whole thing, mesmerized. Then, automatically, another video started. The blue light was the only thing in his world now. The real world, his soft bed, his quiet room, his big dreams, faded away. All that was left was the next post, the next picture, the next short burst of laughter. His body was tired. His back hurt from sitting up too long. His neck was stiff, but his brain was wide awake. The blue light from the phone tricked his brain. It told his brain that it was still daytime, that the sun was still up. His brain was confused. It did not know it was time to rest. Leo felt a strange kind of tired. He was exhausted in his bones, but his mind was racing like a car with no brakes. It was full of noise and bright pictures and other people's lives. He looked at the clock again. It felt like only a few minutes had passed. 2 a.m. The red numbers seemed to mock him. 2 a.m. He had to be up at 7 a.m. for work, 5 hours. That was not enough sleep, not nearly enough. He knew it deep down. Panic began to set in. His heart beat a little faster. "I need to sleep," he said, his voice tight with worry. He finally put the phone down on the nightstand. The room plunged into darkness. The sudden silence was loud. He closed his eyes. He tried to sleep. He commanded his brain to shut down, but his mind was not ready. It was still spinning from the blue light. He saw the videos he had watched playing behind his closed eyelids. He heard the music in his head. He thought about the news stories that made him feel angry or sad. He tossed and turned. He punched his pillow, trying to make it comfortable. He was too hot, then too cold. He was so desperate for sleep, but it would not come. When he finally fell asleep, it was a light, restless sleep. It was not a good, deep, healing sleep. It was filled with strange dreams and worry. The morning after beep, beep, beep. The alarm clock was loud. It was a horrible, jarring sound that shattered the morning peace. It felt like a hammer hitting his head. Leo opened his eyes. They felt dry and scratchy, like they were full of sand. His body felt heavy, like lead. He did not want to move. Every muscle protested. He wanted to stay in that warm bed forever. He hit the snooze button. Just 10 more minutes. Please, just 10 more. The alarm went off again, relentless. Beep, beep, beep. He groaned, a sound of pure misery. He forced himself to sit up. His head was spinning. He felt dizzy and weak. He stumbled into the bathroom, holding onto the doorframe. He looked in the mirror. The face looking back at him did not look like a man with big dreams. It looked like a zombie from a scary movie. His eyes were red and bloodshot. There were dark purple circles under them. His skin looked gray and lifeless. He looked sad. He looked defeated before the day had even begun. He took a shower, making the water as cold as he could stand it. It did not help much. He was still deeply tired. He got dressed in a fog. He grabbed his bag. He had to go to work. He walked to the train station. The sun was too bright, hurting his sensitive eyes. The noises of the city, cars honking, people shouting, were too loud. Everyone else seemed awake. They walked fast with purpose. They talked on their phones. They laughed. Leo felt like he was moving in slow motion, stuck in thick mud. He got to his office building. He went up in the elevator. He sat at his desk. He turned on his computer. The screen was bright white, just like his phone had been. It made his throbbing head hurt even more. He had a lot of work to do. There were reports to write, emails to answer, and a big meeting with his boss later that afternoon. He tried to focus. He opened the first email. The words swam on the screen. He read the same sentence 3 times and still could not understand what it meant. His brain felt like it was full of cotton wool. It was foggy and slow. He tried to write a report. He made a spelling mistake in the very first word. He deleted it. He tried again. Another mistake. He could not remember simple facts. He felt frustrated. He felt stupid. Why was this so hard? It was easy work. He had done it 100 times before. Why could he not do it today? He needed coffee. Maybe caffeine would help jumpstart his brain. He went to the break room. He poured a large mug of black coffee. His hands were shaking a little from fatigue. He walked back to his desk, holding the mug carefully. He was almost there. Then it happened. His foot caught on the leg of his chair. He stumbled forward. The hot coffee sloshed out of the mug. It splashed in a brown wave all over his desk. It went on his important papers. It went on his keyboard. It went on the front of his clean white shirt. "No!" he cried out, his voice full of panic. He grabbed a handful of paper towels. He tried to dab at the mess frantically, but the coffee had already soaked into the important papers. The ink was running, turning into black blobs. The words were gone. The work was ruined. He looked at the mess. He felt a wave of pure despair wash over him. He felt like crying right there in the office. Just then, his boss walked by. She stopped. She looked at Leo, with coffee stains on his shirt. She looked at the ruined papers on his desk. She did not say anything for a moment. Then she just shook her head slowly. It was a small movement, but it said everything. It said she was disappointed. It said she expected better from him. She walked away without a word. Leo slumped down in his chair. He felt small. He felt useless. He felt like a complete failure. He looked at the pile of work he still had to do. He saw the stack of soggy papers he had ruined. It felt like there was a big red rubber stamp on his forehead, a stamp that said fail in capital letters. He thought about his dreams. The book he wanted to write felt 1,000,000 miles away. The trips he wanted to take felt like fantasies. They felt impossible for a man like him. How could he write a great book when he could not even write a simple email without errors? How could he travel the world when he could not even make it through a single day at work without a disaster? The rest of the day was a blur of misery. He made more mistakes. He forgot important things. He felt angry at himself. He felt sad. He felt trapped in his own tired body. The cycle. This was not the first time this had happened. It was happening more and more often. It was becoming his normal life. It was a cycle, a terrible trap of a cycle. At 9 p.m., he was tired from the day. He wanted to escape. He picked up his phone for comfort. He got lost in the blue light. He stayed up way too late. At 7 a.m., he was exhausted. His brain was foggy. He could not think clearly. At work, he struggled. He made mistakes. He felt bad about himself and his abilities. At 6 p.m., he came home. He was even more tired than before. He was stressed and grumpy. He felt guilty about his bad day. So at 9 p.m., he picked up his phone again, to escape the bad feelings, to forget the bad day, to numb his mind. And the cycle started all over again, the 9 p.m. trap. It was a trap he had built for himself, night after night. Every single evening, he walked right into it with his eyes open. He knew it was bad for him, he knew he should stop, but he did not know how. The phone was his comfort blanket. It was his friend in the quiet night. It was the only thing that made him feel good at the end of a long, hard day. But it was a false friend. It was a liar. It was taking away his energy. It was taking away his focus. It was stealing his dreams. Weeks went by like this, then months. Leo felt like he was slowly losing himself. The bright, happy, ambitious man he used to be was fading away. In his place was this tired, sad, zombie man who just went through the motions. He stopped working on his book completely. He stopped looking at travel websites. He just went to work, came home, checked his phone for hours, and slept poorly. He was existing, but he was not living. The awakening one night, a storm was blowing outside. Rain lashed against his window panes. The wind howled. Leo was snug in his bed. It was 1 a.m. He was deep in the trap, watching a video of a dog learning a new trick. A notification popped up at the top of his screen. It was from his photo app. A memory from 5 years ago, it said. Curious, Leo tapped on it. The photo filled the screen. It was him, but it was a different him. In the photo, Leo was standing on top of a tall mountain he had climbed. The sun was just rising behind him, painting the sky in gold and pink. His arms were raised high in the air in victory. He was smiling a huge, wide, genuine smile. His eyes were bright and clear. He looked strong. He looked happy. He looked fully alive. Leo stared at the photo in shock. He touched the screen with a trembling finger. He traced the smiling face of his younger self. A single tear rolled down his cheek and landed on the phone screen. He looked at his own reflection in the dark glass of the phone. He saw the bloodshot eyes, the downturned mouth, the tired gray skin. What happened to me? He whispered into the silence. He knew exactly what had happened. The 9 p.m. trap had happened. The blue light had happened. The months of lost sleep had happened. He looked at the clock. 1:15 a.m. He looked back at the photo. The man on the mountain seemed to be looking right at him. He seemed to be saying, "Where did you go? Come back to life." Leo felt a spark ignite inside his chest. It was a small spark, but it was hot. It was a spark of anger. Anger at himself for letting this happen. Anger at the phone that held him captive. Anger at the trap that was ruining his life. He was angry that he was wasting his potential. He was angry that he was letting his dreams die. "No more," he said. His voice was stronger this time. It was a firm declaration. He did not want to be the zombie man anymore. He wanted to be the mountain man again. He wanted his energy back. He wanted his dreams back. He knew what he had to do. It was simple in theory, but he knew it would be the hardest thing he had ever done. He had to break the trap. He took a deep, shaky breath. He closed the photo app. He pressed down on the power button. He turned off his phone. Completely off. Not just asleep. Dead. He got out of his warm bed. He walked out of his room and into the kitchen. He placed the black phone on the cold kitchen counter. He walked back to his bedroom. He shut the door firmly behind him. The room was dark. The silence was loud, but this time Leo did not feel afraid of the quiet. He felt ready. The battle. The first few nights were a war. It was a battle between Leo and his own brain. At 9 p.m., Leo's hand would twitch. It wanted to reach for the phone. It was a physical itch he could not scratch. He felt restless and jumpy. He did not know what to do with his hands or his time. He tried to read a book, but his mind would not focus on the words on the page. He kept thinking about his phone in the kitchen. What was he missing? Did someone send him a message? Was there breaking news? He felt anxious. He felt bored. He felt empty. He paced around his small apartment like a caged animal. He tidied things that were already tidy. He opened the fridge and stared inside, not hungry. He went back to his room and sat on his bed. He looked at the clock. 9:30 p.m. Only 30 minutes had passed. It felt like hours had gone by. His brain was screaming for the blue light. It was begging for the dopamine hit of a new notification. It was like a drug. He was going through withdrawal. "Just one check," his brain pleaded with him. "Just for a minute. It won't hurt." "No," Leo said out loud to the empty room. "No." He knew he had to find something else to do. He had to replace the bad habit with a good one. He needed a new routine to wind down. He decided to create a ritual. At 9 p.m. sharp, he marched into the kitchen and put his phone on the counter. He turned it off. That was the first step. Then he went to the bathroom. He ran a warm shower. He stepped inside and let the hot water wash over him. He imagined it was washing away the stress, the worry, and the desire for the phone. He dried off and put on his most comfortable pajamas. He went to the kitchen and made a cup of herbal tea. Chamomile. It was warm and soothing. It did not have caffeine to keep him awake. He went back to his room. He did not turn on the bright overhead light. Instead, he turned on a small lamp on his nightstand. It cast a soft, warm yellow glow. He sat in a comfortable chair with his book. It was a real book, made of paper. He forced himself to read. At first, he could only read one paragraph before his mind wandered back to the phone. But he gently brought his attention back to the page. After a while, something shifted. He began to get lost in the story. The words created pictures in his mind. Not bright, flashing, fast pictures like on the phone. Soft, slow, peaceful pictures. His body began to relax. The tea was warm in his belly. The chair was soft. The room was quiet. He started to feel sleepy. A real, natural sleepiness. Not the exhausted, wired feeling from before. His eyes felt heavy in a good way. He looked at the clock. 10:15 p.m. He got into bed. The sheets felt cool and crisp. The pillow was soft. He closed his eyes. His mind was not racing. It was calm. He thought about the story in the book. He thought about the warmth of the shower. He fell asleep quickly and peacefully, and the new dawn. The next morning the alarm rang. Beep, beep, beep. Leo opened his eyes. He waited for the pain. He waited for the brain fog. He waited for the feeling of being a zombie. But it did not come. His eyes did not burn. His head did not spin. His body did not feel like lead. He felt okay. He felt rested. He felt awake. He sat up in bed. He stretched his arms over his head. His muscles felt ready for the day. He got out of bed. He walked to the window and threw open the curtains. The morning sun was shining. The sky was blue. It looked like a beautiful day. He went to the bathroom. He looked in the mirror. The dark circles under his eyes were lighter. His skin had some color. He did not look sad. He smiled at his reflection. It was a small smile, but it was real. He got ready for work. He did not feel rushed or stressed. He felt calm and in control. He walked to the train station. He noticed the blue of the sky. He heard the birds singing in the trees. He did not feel like he was in slow motion anymore. He felt like he was part of the moving world. He got to his office. He sat at his desk. He turned on his computer. He looked at his work list. It did not look scary or impossible. It just looked like work. He started on a new report. The words came easily to his mind. His brain was clear and sharp. He could think straight. He did not make silly mistakes. He finished the report in an hour. He read it over. It was good. He knew it was good work. He felt a surge of pride in himself. He had done it. Later that day, he had the big meeting with his boss. He was not nervous. He listened carefully to what she said. When it was his turn to speak, he shared his ideas clearly and confidently. His boss listened. She smiled. She nodded her head. "Good work, Leo," she said in front of everyone. "That's a great idea. Let's do it." Leo felt 10 feet tall. He did not spill his coffee that day. He did not see the word fail anywhere. He saw success. He felt success. The victory. It did not happen overnight. It took time and patience. Some nights were harder than others. Some nights he was stressed and really wanted the comfort of his phone. But he would close his eyes and remember the photo of the mountain man. He would remember the feeling of the zombie man, and he would stay strong. He stuck to his new routine religiously. Phone off at 9 p.m., warm shower, herbal tea, good book, sleep. Slowly but surely, his life began to change for the better. He had more energy every day. He felt happier and more positive. He was more focused and productive at work. A few months later, he even got a promotion and a raise. His mind was clear. The persistent fog was gone. One evening, after a good dinner, he did not feel too tired to do anything. He felt a spark of creativity he hadn't felt in years. He went to his desk at home. He opened a drawer and pulled out an old notebook. It was the notebook for his book. The cover was dusty. He blew the dust off. He opened it to the first blank page. He picked up a pen. It felt good in his hand. And he began to write. The words poured out of him. The story that had been trapped inside him came rushing out. He wrote for an hour, lost in his own world. It felt wonderful. It felt like coming home to himself. He had his dream back. He also started planning a trip for his next vacation. He looked at maps of South America. He looked at pictures of mountains and jungles. He felt excited about the future. Leo was no longer trapped. He was free. He looked at the clock on the wall. It was exactly 9 p.m. He did not feel the pull of the phone anymore. He felt the peace of the evening. He walked to the kitchen. He picked up his phone. He looked at the black, silent screen. "You don't control me anymore," he said softly to the device. He turned it off and put it back down on the counter. He went to take his warm shower. He was ready for his good night's sleep. He was ready for his better tomorrow. Conclusion: the 9 p.m. trap is real. It is waiting for you every single night. It is easy to fall into. It promises you comfort and relaxation, but it gives you chaos and anxiety. It promises you rest, but it steals your precious sleep. The blue light from your screen is a thief in the night. It robs you of your energy, your focus, and your dreams. It leaves you with brain fog, mistakes, and a heavy feeling of failure. But you have a choice. You hold the power in your own hands. You can choose to step into the trap. You can choose the endless scroll, the swipe, the noise of the internet. You can choose the groggy morning, the coffee spills, and the day full of regret. Or you can choose to escape. You can choose to put the phone down. You can choose quiet. You can choose a real book with paper pages. You can choose a warm bath. You can choose a moment of peace with yourself. You can choose sleep. Real, deep, healing sleep. When you choose sleep, you choose yourself. You choose your health. You choose your future. A good tomorrow does not start in the morning. It starts tonight. It starts at 9 p.m. It starts with a simple choice to turn off the light and close your eyes. Don't let your night routine destroy your tomorrow. Take back your night. Take back your sleep. Take back your life. Be like Leo. Be the hero of your own story. Break the trap. Your own personal mountain is out there, waiting for you to climb it. You just need a good night's sleep to get started.